The Jets brought in Pierre Desir to be their new starting cornerback, but is he better than Trumaine Johnson? This is for better or worse. Jets, Jets! Welcome to Jets Talk. My name is Ryan. I'll be your pilot today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Guys, link down below in the description if you want to join our mock draft contest. It's only the first round. It's totally free to join, and you can win yourself some cash prizes. So if you want to have a little more fun with the community, join that down below. But let's jump right into the For Better or Worse episode 2. This is episode 2, of course. We did Brashad Perriman and Robbie Anderson already, so I'll link that in the description as well, so you guys can check that out if you haven't. You saw the thumbnail. It says Pierre Desir versus Trumaine Johnson. I'm calling an audible here. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to do Pierre Desir versus Trumaine Johnson and Darryl Roberts. So we're going to compare 3 players across the board and see who is better or worse. For this iteration, I decided to take the last 2 years of statistics for these guys and try to figure out if they are better or worse, just because Trumaine Johnson was on the team for 2 years, Darryl Roberts really started the last 2 years, and Pierre Desir was playing the last 2 years as well. So I wanted to combine 2 years of statistics across these guys to sort of get a fair judgment on how they're currently playing. But let's jump into the grading system. I'm going to be looking at their contract, their health, the Pro Football Focus grade, receiving yards allowed, times targeted, passes deflected, deserved catch percentage, missed tackles, and touchdowns given up. So without further ado, let's jump right into the grading process. To start things off, Pierre Desir is 6'1", 198 pounds. Trumaine Johnson, 6'2", 213 pounds. And Darryl Roberts is 6', 182 pounds. When we look at their contracts, they are pretty jarring across the board, at least compared to Trumaine Johnson. So Desir had a $5.5 million contract for this season. Last year, Trumaine Johnson was on a $15 million deal, and last year, Darryl Roberts was on a $4.5 million deal. So across the board, I didn't want to rate them too much. I mean, I think we can obviously tell that Trumaine Johnson's is a little inflated for what we actually wound up getting out of him. In terms of health, over the last 2 years, Desir has played in 87% of his games, Trumaine Johnson only 53%, and Darryl Roberts at 91%, so he winds up winning this category. Pro Football Focus grade over the last season, just because I can't really go back 2 years with this, it's kind of annoying. But Pro Football Focus grade, Desir 58.8, Trumaine Johnson with the worst at 53, and then Roberts kind of in the middle there at 56.6. In terms of receptions given up, Desir led the way with the 29th overall grade. Johnson was at 112th with all cornerbacks included, and then Darryl Roberts rounded it out at 39th. In terms of target, Desir was 33rd, Trumaine Johnson 121st, and Roberts 46. Now, part of the 121st and the 112th ranking for these last 2 categories with Johnson is because he did not play in many games. Over the course of his last 2 years with us, he's only played in 53% of the games, so that's why some of these statistics are going to look a little skewed in his favor or against him. You'll see this in the next few categories. In terms of passes deflected, Desir has 14 leading the way. Johnson had 3. Darryl Roberts had 11. So obviously more targets heading towards Desir. He had more passes deflected, so that's something that's good, but he also allowed the least amount of receptions of these 3, so very good overall. In terms of deserved catch, that's the percentage based on the how often they've played and when the receiver should have been able to catch the ball if the ball was on target. So it's slightly deceiving in terms of what their actual percentage was given up, so this is deserved catch percentage. Desir led the way with 82%, Johnson was the worst at 91%, and Roberts was just behind Desir with 83%. In terms of missed tackles over the course of the last 2 seasons, Desir has 11 missed tackles. Johnson led the way with 6, but again, he's only playing in half these contests. So if you double that or whatever based on the 53% health, he's already at 12. So take that with a grain of salt. And then Roberts was the worst at 14. In terms of touchdowns given up, you have 5 touchdowns for Desir, 2 for Johnson. Again, he's only playing half the time. So maybe that number's 4, so it's a little bit closer. And then Darryl Roberts has given up 7 over the last 2 years. So overall, when I'm looking at this, based on the contract that we're paying Desir, $5.5 million, compared to what Darryl Roberts would have even gotten this year, it's actually higher than the 4.5. But we paid 4.5 last year, and Johnson was 15. So overall, I think we did get better here. I can say from doing this, I didn't really know much about Desir outside of making my initial video on him. But as far as the statistics go, it looks like we're going to get better. I like doing this each year because it kind of gives you a little bit of a refreshing take on what we're doing. Are we losing players that could have been valuable to us? And are we replacing them with actual upgrades, or are we taking a step back? Remember, the Jets also have a better secondary with May and Adams on the back end, and I almost said Buster Screen, Brian Poole in the slot. So maybe Desir actually plays better than what we see on these statistics, because you got to remember you're taking these statistics from the Colts secondary, not from the Jets. So a little bit of room for error here. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Who do you want to see me do next? Do you want me to attack the center position? Do you want me to attack one of the offensive line guys? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, go Jets.